My thoughts on like Starfield are basically going to be like this game looks like it's going to be providing a lot to players, but it needs to pull it off. If it doesn't pull it off, if everything doesn't work in harmony with each other, there's looks to be a lot of options here, but it needs to work on release. It needs to work on release. This is a must, especially with how tired and sick of the shit from companies players are getting. Players are just getting sick of hearing lies, okay? And it's not just from Bethesda, it's from like a lot of studios, okay? The fact that this is going to be day one on Xbox, I don't really understand why. I mean, honestly, if this game is what it's cracked up to be, I would pay full price for it. That being said, without a decent launch, we're going to be looking at real issues for not only Bethesda but Xbox in general. And I'm saying this owning an Xbox and literally buying it, thinking maybe Starfield might have something going for it. But I liked Fallout 4. New Vegas kind of fucked with my trust a little bit. It turned out to be better. They fixed it. It got better. I mean, it's not what Fallout is at all, by any means. It tries, but it doesn't quite hit that mark for me. And it looks to be Fallout in space. I'm not gonna fucking lie. This does look like it's made with the same engine. There is some new things that I'm seeing that they're really, really implementing really hardcore into this that I have not seen in a lot of games, at least in the variety that they're offering. The ability to customize literally almost every aspect of the game, from your guns to your ships to your... it's only really been available in games like No Man's Sky, but never to this degree. The ability to build bases, build your own ship, build your own weapons, pretty much hire a whole crew. These are all things that we have on No Man's Sky. I mean, but with a Bethesda touch, which is... if you know anything about like Bethesda games and you've played Morrowind, you played Skyrim, you've played Oblivion, you played Fallout 3, Fallout 4. I won't say New Vegas, but New Vegas wasn't really developed by Bethesda. But if you've played those games, then you kind of know that Bethesda touch they're going to throw in. However, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this outright and really, really, really loudly so that hopefully someone out there can hear. I want to be hyped for this game. I really do. But I looked at how the company treated Doom. I looked at how the company treated Fallout 76. I looked at how the company has treated other games in their past and how we have been lied to before. And it's hard for me to completely commit my heart, but I am going to say, with what I saw from the direct showcase, I am absolutely blown away at the amount of options they're trying to provide. Now, whether or not they're going to be able to provide those options and do it in a way that keeps people like really intrigued, that's going to be different. That's going to be something that I'm going to have to observe. Obviously, I'm going to have it on Game Pass because I have Game Pass. The problem I'm going to have is whether or not I want to purchase the game, because I know there will be DLC. And this is a Bethesda game. Every Bethesda game carries DLC. This will have DLC. I don't know what kind of DLC, but this will definitely have DLC. I will say this. With what I've seen in this direct showcase, I am hoping all of this comes standard and is not cut down for DLC or to be implemented as DLC later on, which is something we have seen in the past from greedy game developers. I'm hoping all of this is going to be given to us outright, and that DLC will add storyline and perhaps more options to the game, rather than just add what we're seeing here. Because DLC it's always timed release, and it's gonna appear to people, if you have a showcase like this showing all these features, it is going to appear to people that you have released an uncompleted game, and that is going to cause a lot of issues. That is going to cause a serious, drastic amount of issues. Does that mean the game is going to be bad? I don't know. Like I said, we're going to have to see on the release. I am skeptical. There's been years, hell, I got really hype for No Man's Sky. I got really hype for Cyberpunk. These two games were games I was like salivating in the mouth. Now, No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk, new gen, not really that bad. They did repair a lot of the problems. But the releases for those games, unexcusably bad. Unexcusably bad. And when you have a release for a game like that that's unexcusably bad, it's going to cause severe distrust in people. And they're gonna use intuition in later endeavors. And yes, I'm wearing cat ears. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed to admit it. But yeah, I can't really say that I'm super hype. I am hype. I'm not super hype. I'm not going to say that this is going to be the end all of games, because what Bethesda's doing here is basically what we've had in No Man's Sky, just to a higher degree of detail. But No Man's Sky just released another update, and they're doing all this for free. By the way, shout out to Sean Murray, dude. You're doing an amazing job. There were times I have doubted you. No, dude. You have exceeded my expectations far more often than not. So shout out to you. But in terms of Tom, you have lied to us before. And so I am skeptical. And I want you to prove it. I want you to prove this to me. I want to shit my pants with fuck, I was wrong. And if I get that, I will fucking totally hype this game. Totally. But until I get that, you're gonna have some skepticism. That's where I stand. And I think anyone with a sound mind should think about things that way. And I think no one should really hate someone who's gonna think that way, especially considering what we've been through. But yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm really, really liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I want to see it implemented properly on release. Now, I'm not going to say I want perfection on release, but I do not want a Fallout 76 launch to where it irreparably destroys the user base. And like, even today, it's hard to find people on Fallout 76. I mean, there's lots of people worldwide, but it's scattered across several servers. So you might find like one or two, maybe three. You'll find people on Fallout 76, but it's because they're slowly coming back. Let's not do that again. Let's not do that, Bethesda. Also, like I said, let's hope that all of these features you guys are showing us are not going to be given to us in later DLCs, or you're chopping the game down to give these features to us in later DLCs, because people are sick of that too. People are tired of it, all right? They're absolutely fucking tired of it. And if you look at, like, Armored Core's, like, Reddit, you'll quickly see they've never really had to deliver, like, a faulty release with, like, DLCs and all that shit and chopping it down. They don't chop down their shit, and they're getting high praise for it. And I think you've got companies out there, in terms of PR, that do amazing PR, and then when the product comes out, we're just like, fuck, that was good PR. But, and I don't want this to be that kind of game. I really don't. And I worry that if it is, Microsoft's going to think they're going to want the bankroll back. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely focus on it. That would be my tip to Bethesda. Focus on it. Really focus on it. As far as options, I'm sold on these options. I want to see them well implemented. I want to see them, and I think I speak for a lot of people who would love the same, honestly, because we've seen too much bullshit come out of the game industry. Not necessarily just Bethesda. I'm not going to even say Bethesda's completely the only ones guilty, because I mean EA. We've seen it from everyone in the gaming industry, even fucking Hello Games. As much as I praise Hello Games, I'm not gonna lie, I was sipping hard for them for like a week and 2 weeks, hell, even a month after release because they're a small studio. But the release was atrocious. It was. It was horrible. And even with that, like, and Sean and the team at Hello Games, the very tiny team, mind you. I still like to iterate that because they don't have Bethesda money. They don't have EA money. You know, they don't have like, well, they do now. I mean, because they have made a precedent for how you can put out a faulty game and recover, but I don't think it's a precedent that we should set as a standard. And unfortunately, that's where we are, and I think people are getting tired of that. And once we're ready and we're set with this game's release, I want to see it come out good. I want to see it come out decent. If it doesn't come out decent, you're gonna have problems. The whole industry is going to have problems. I'm not going to say this one game is going to make or break the industry, but I'm going to tell you, with the hype that a lot of people have for this game, and the hype that a lot of people have for like Liberty, the new Liberty DLC that's coming out for Cyberpunk, hell, even Fable. I mean, you've got a lot of really good titles coming out. If you don't deliver on these, you're going to see some colossal problems within your consumer base. This is just my expert opinion after following the gaming industry all the way from Atari on up, okay? This is what's going to happen. And we're already starting to see the ripples. If you look at the Reddit pages, you look at Facebook posts, you go to the groups of certain games that release faulty or release in perfect condition, and you see how they're contrasted and compared to each other, you will quickly see the ripple effects of a consumer basis that is going into descent. And they need some wins. The gaming industry needs wins right now. You guys need wins. And I know no one wants to say this. This is something that's jaded and something that's oh my gosh, it's too negative. No, it's not negative. It's real. Be honest with yourselves. We need some wins right now. And I'd like to see these games succeed on release rather than just become outright egregious failures too. Like right out the door. And we've seen what happens when you lose that momentum on release. It's not good for the game's longevity. People leave. So I'm really hoping the best for this game. I've gone on too long saying the same thing over and over again. I know that. I'm sorry. But every time I see a game that looks this good and I get hyped about it, it helps not only to tell myself these things, but to tell other people who might be feeling the same, so that we don't drop this thing dead on doornail, right on arrival, and it doesn't just outright just destroy the entire game. Because I'm gonna be honest, we were lucky we got a DLC for Cyberpunk with the reaction that was given. And honestly, CDPR is lucky they even got any users back from Edgerunners with how they released the product. So it's not just give and take on both sides. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, consumers, and then we're not. No, they have a rightful reason to have expectations because it's their money on the line. And with the economies the way they are today, you better fucking provide. Okay? And that's not to say, and I don't think boycotting games is going to be good, because you've got to remember these are also developers. There's also a lot of developers that are really getting, shafted in the long run too. People who actually put money into the game. So I don't know how we're going to figure this out, but we need to figure this out because the game industry is going to be threatened very soon by the descent that's already happening. And there's ripples in the water, and these waves are about to form. And I don't want to see games like this throw it down. I'm sorry. I don't. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Starfield. It looks amazing. Whether or not it delivers, that's what's going to catch me. I'm not even going to download it on Xbox Series X unless I see some good gameplay vid on release. That's where I'm standing right now. And because I'm sick of half-delivered games. That's where I'm at. And I honestly think there's a lot of people who feel the same. But yeah, that's what I think. That's my opinion. I'm going to stop here. It's 15 minutes. I'm done. Peace.